And a very warm welcome to another episode of the TeachPitch podcast. And this one is an extremely special one because I have the great honor to be sitting here on Zoom with Yui and Takaharu Tezuka, one in blue, one in red, and then the children in yellow and green. And a very warm welcome to the two of you. It is a great honor to have you on the show. For those who do not know Yui and Takaharu Tezuka, they are world-renowned architects. If you were to look them up, you would find a lot of great material about them and about their agency Tezuka Architects and the great projects and works that they've done, the many prizes they have won, and also kind of the simplicity and their approach to architecture. And I can highly recommend, and I hope we're going to talk about that, a TED talk that Takaharu you did, which is beautiful, around the Fuji kindergarten. I hope I pronounced that correctly, and the lovely video and the joy of the children playing there and your vision around that. There is so much to the project, and and that would be already my first question, because it's almost like these things were born out of the ground and just pushed out as something that naturally needed to be there. That's really how I feel when I look at your designs. It is simple yet effective, and then when you look at it closer, it's actually highly innovative and actually maybe a little bit complex. Sorry, what do you hear most often from people who kind of look at your work?
People think we are kind of donut shop because we design the Fuji kindergarten.
Yeah.
I tell them, we don't just sell donuts. We have pretzels, birds, everything. But my point is, it's not about shape. It's about life we are designing. Architecture is nothing more than a gateway to bring you to new life. That is what we are doing for. Okay. Yeah. And as you said, just we are designing looking like something coming out from the ground. So it means you feel that the product has been existed as it was before, but it's still new, something new as it existed before. And it's a kind of paradox, okay? So what we're saying is now, nature of the human being has never been changed, maybe more than 100,000 years. We have been, okay, maybe at least 1,000 years, okay? So even you bring something nice food to 1,000 years ago in the taking time capsule, may they feel, oh, it's tasty, very nice, So we are trying to go into such kind of core you can't change. It's almost memory written into cerebral cortex deeply. That is the kind of thing we do. You want to say something?
Yeah, we like to make something like a kind of nostalgic future. Because when we were designing the Fuji kindergarten, the principal of the Fuji kindergarten says that he wants to make some kind of nostalgic future. Yeah, we are so impressed by his work. Yeah. So nowadays the technology has developed quite enough. So we most of the people in the world use iPhone, so makes life easier for us. And the iPhone makes our life easier. And the iPhone is so easy to use, so children can use. So when the technology developed enough, I can say we can achieve what we really want to.
People used to say technology is going to invade their life. We lose something. But I think we got a different kind of, vision, because of technology. You can go into jungle Borneo safely because you have got a system.
Yeah.
And you can see all the world going on in the world,
Yeah.
And maybe 50 years ago, there are more killings going on. Just we didn't know anything about. People think, oh, there are so many people get killed. But the truth is that the war has been around the world all the time. But we didn't get that information. Now we are conscious about that kind of tragedy going on.
Yeah.
And so now we can be more conscious about the life, and we can care about the people on another side of the planet. And it's a kind of future, And that also we can think about the nostalgic things, in the past, the green was supposed to be good, okay? We shouldn't lose the jungle, we should keep animals, okay? We shouldn't kill elephants, okay? These things happen because technology has been developed, So, technology and the future and nostalgia, all these are coming together.
Yeah.
That is what we are talking about.
Yeah, that is very beautiful, nostalgic future. I really love it. It really awakens the imagination, and I see so many things coming together when you say nostalgia and future, and then seeing, looking at the crossroads of those two. If you don't mind me asking, where does the journey start for you? As your challenges, we're going to discuss some of your projects. Two more particular, but in the case of Fuji Kindergarten, do you remember where the journey started? So when we're talking nostalgic future and the surroundings of where the kindergarten has been built, do you remember kind of what opened kind of your thinking to end up with the donut as it is today?
It's nothing is dramatic. It happened eventually. But I think that all these started from the principal, Mr. Kato. Okay, he wanted a kind of village where everybody can be equal. The people can communicate. As how we got the imagination. Oh, maybe we should get the link. Just like a campfire.
Before we designed Fuji Kindergarten, we designed the house called Roof House.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Roof House is a house where the family can have lunch on top of the roof. It's a single-story house, and there's a big roof. And on the roof, we have table and benches and small kitchen and so on. So they can have lunch on top of the roof. And it was published quite many. And the principal of the Fuji Kindergarten looked at that house. On the magazine. But actually he was introduced our house from some kind of art kind of designer, graphic designer, and so we are asked to design that kind of kindergarten.
Roof house for 400 children, now 680. Okay, wow. So but it didn't become just roof house. The roof house, just another house. And so we made it donuts so that they can keep running around. That's one of the challenge we made. And another thing is he said he doesn't want any handrail. Wow, kids get the drop fall off, and then you make it suit. But he said, no, don't worry. You can have a net sticking out so you can catch the children falling off. I think it's impossible. You're crazy. But we went to City Hall, and the City Hall's people said, you are insane. And we went back to Fuji Kindergarten, and he said, well, now, I'm serious. We should go back to City Hall. And then we went back to City Hall. I realized this time they were listening to us seriously. And there's one thing I found out, they don't have election. Even president of the country, they have to go through the election every 4 years. The principal don't have election. They have been running that kindergarten more than 70 years.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, yeah.
And all these kids, all people are from that kindergarten.
Yeah.
And they have been trained or told to do exactly what principal said. Okay? So since they are 3 years old, they listen to principal, Mr. Kato or grandfather Kato. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he's saying, okay, could you listen to Tezuka? And these people, the department in City Hall, are from that kindergarten. Now they listen to them, listen to the principal. So somehow we kept idea around the tree, not on the edge of the building. But then many challenges started happening. Usually that kind of thing never happens. Usually a principal are very scared, very much scared these days.
Yeah.
Because people think about safety. Okay? Safety. Okay? And kind of security, let's say. Okay? Maybe safety is good, but the security is very bad. Yeah. Because safety is a kind of precaution to prevent something very bad happens. Yeah. But security is something prevent everything. Nothing happens. Some kind of challenge are necessary for the kids. So, now interesting about Fujikin, everything is about the challenge. They have to think. Instead of putting the kids into some kind of safe cage, as a normal kindergarten does, he's giving freedom to all the kids. Running around, they're bumping each other, climbing trees. It's a crazy kindergarten, And we are having a hard time. But the good thing is, because we got the prize from OECD, okay. Now just our government is listening, and she became the one to set up a new standard for the kindergarten. Now the government. Yeah. So I think we are in good shape.
In good shape to build it. That's amazing, and I see in many of your projects that you have a lot with education, right? Okay. There's a lot that touches with education, and I know the kindergarten is just one of the many amazing projects that you built. But there is or am I just seeing this, that there is an educational connection with what you do? Am I correct to assume that, or am I wrong here?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So you can go on. Could you elaborate more? Because
well, I mean, let's elaborate through one of your projects, and let's start there, because I think that's a very concrete example. Just before we clicked record, we discussed the challenges you wanted to discuss, and I'm jumping to the challenge that you discussed around a project that you were working on within a community that, previously was being harassed and terrorized by the Yakuza, so the mafia. And there is a connection there. Could you elaborate a little bit, because you describe, I think that's beautiful, you describe your projects as your challenges, and I think this one speaks very much to to education and a connection of a disrupted part of the community.
Yeah, the city is called Kitakyushu. Maybe these happened last 40 or 50 years. Yakuza took control of the city, and everybody were terrorized, scared. Okay? And then they had education problem, all these, very poor, all these problems there. Nobody wanted to go into the town, okay? But somehow police and local government managed to push them out, or maybe still there, but they succeeded to take the headquarters down, okay? And now there's a big piece of land empty on the center of the city. But the people were thinking, what can we do about it? But still there are Yakuza around there, okay? But there's an interesting pastor trying to help the city. But he's quite famous for helping the homeless people, okay? Now, I have been working with him a long time. he said, okay, let's challenge this. We can solve all these problems. We found out the Yakuza problem are not from just Yakuza, okay? It's from poverty, and especially from education. Because these children from Yakuza family can't get the education, okay? They're segregated. They have no place to go, okay? And then they become poor, become Yakuza. All the Yakuza help them, and because of that, they are not the big good company coming into the city, so there's no industry, okay? So people get poorer and poorer, and more Yakuza, all this, okay? But they said, okay, we should solve the poverty first. So the building got 50 rooms for the people who can't make money anymore. Means that some of them are old, or some are disabled, or these can stay. On the ground level, we are trying to make a town for hope. We call it the town for hope, and that is for everybody, not only for poor people, young people trying to get education, but not capable of get education because they are not, they don't have access to good education. Okay, and usually you divide people into elderly, young, and children and women, and you put them differently. But in good society, everybody's one, okay? And then I think we thought maybe we can help them together with some education and the community. And these days, especially last 2 years, education get changed. Until maybe recently, we divided students into different age groups. But you should know that each age group, each year, got only 35 to 40% of children suitable for that age. So many of them cannot follow the class. Many of them were supposed to be ahead. Okay, and once you lose the catch, if once you fail to understand the class, there's no way to catch up because you go up. So it means once you fail or keep failing, you can't go to high school. And the city got very low rate of high school students. Only about 100 children cannot go to high school. That's extremely low rate.
It's an extremely high number.
Very bad. It's very high number. Sorry, it's very high number. Sorry, it's a high number. And so it means we can help them together.
And so, just out of curiosity, how? So you previously indicated it's very difficult to break the cycle, right?
Yeah.
So do you know of any attempts? Because so the pastor that you mentioned, is he making an effort to break that cycle, or so what are ways of trying to kind of put an end to it? Because you would need to disrupt families to do this, right?
No. First of all, we have to give them safety, where they can come in daytime, because they have no place to go. They have to walk around, maybe on the street, and they become a part of the group. Okay, that's the beginning. But if we can provide them proper place, they can get the food, good food, education, and then friends, and somebody who can make a kind of consultation. Okay, maybe they can become different. Okay, so the town for hope can be called, school for hope. It means everybody can get education. Even you're 50 years old, you can get education for 10 years old. Even you are 10 years old, you can get education for 6 years old. Okay, but it can catch up. That is possible. That become possible without, in a tablet education these days.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is one of the special tool these days.
Yeah.
But problem is that the tablet cannot provide wisdom. Tablet can provide only knowledge.
Yeah.
But in that town, it means that on the ground level, we are trying to bring different age groups, okay,
together,
and then so they can communicate. There are people who can help them, and so still the project started recently, okay,
Yeah.
but we bought the land already.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can do it. So I did a kind of catch copy. We said, you are there, I'm here. There's some way to do it.
Yeah. If you both make an effort to do it, then it'll lead to results eventually. What I notice here is that you are tackling a lot more than just the architecture of a building. It's a deeply rooted societal problem you need to understand and take a look at before you start designing something. And I think it's very worthy that you take that time and energy to put it in there, because you also said like it's about the people. It's giving it back to the people so they can use it in a nostalgic future, right? And I think that's beautiful, but it must take you a lot of time. It's not just a quick build the project in and out.
Yeah, it's a
long-term involvement. It's not good for money. Yeah. How do you navigate those two? Because I think you address a very vital issue. How do you navigate those two, having to keep a company going and being involved with these projects?
Yeah, I think making friends is the best.
Yeah.
And we are very good at making friends for the pastor who knows how to. And actually, we designed a hospital for the children having cancer so that they can be together.
Yeah.
And we got some kind of interesting doctor to help it. And eventually, Prime Minister helped that project. Okay.
Yeah.
Eventually, get knowing all kinds of people, politicians, and educators, and the pastor, and then also local people on the street.
Yeah.
And so communication is the best way.
Yeah.
Then eventually, there are people trying to help. That is what we are very good at.
Yeah. That's wonderful, and it suits you, and you are becoming my friends as well. As we speak about these things, so
in a barbecue is a good tool.
Barbecue is a good tool, to make friends.
Barbecue, sometimes we barbecue more than 50 kilos of meat, so we can bring people together. And people love.
Food is always a good connector. That's wonderful. So thank you so much. That's it's really fascinating, because I just realized you first look at nature and how the environment is set up to cater to our needs as human beings. And then the Yakuza example you just mentioned is really how do the people relate to each other, and what is causing disruption, and where is healing needed. And then it seems that on both levels you provide some sort of a medicine or antidote in the form of a building. And I think your next challenge is also a very adamant example of that, whereby you spoke about the tremendous damage that the tsunami has done, and kind of a project after that, or involved around that. Could you talk a little bit more in detail about that and your involvement?
Yeah, I think that about tsunami happened 2011. Mm-hmm. More than 25,000 people died. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we were invited by UNICEF to build a temporary kindergarten on the high ground, because the town is gone. And then we went there, and then we found a beautiful promenade. Actually, it's a promenade for the temple, And the trees were planted about 400 years ago, And these trees were meant to burn down to make fuel. And they said, it's a waste. Okay, and also we thought it's a kind of waste to make a temporary building using such kind of important money provided from the world. So we said, okay, we can build a new kindergarten with these timbers. There's an important story about these timbers, because last tsunami was 1611. Okay, and this time tsunami is 2011. Exactly 400 years. Tsunami comes like a clockwork. Okay, so the trees promenade, the kind of memorial. Okay, and there's a temple at the end on the high ground. Okay, and then there's a story always. If a big aspect happen, you should go to old temple, because if the temple is old enough, so the temple is survivor. It's a safe place. Okay, and then we were told to build kindergarten close to there, and then we are using material, 400 years old. These are planted 400 years ago, and so these the building is built for 2411. Actually, it's not easy, because these days you don't build architecture for 400 years. But in Japan, it's quite normal to find 1,000 years old temple, because some of temples exceed 1,200 years easily. So we used old technique instead of modern technique, because we know that if you use old joinery for timbers, okay, the building is going to survive more than 1,000 years easily. Okay, so and we did the kindergarten with these old 400 years old trees, killed by seawater. Okay, I forgot to tell you, these trees were killed by seawater. Okay, and that was meant to be burned down. And then if we use the joinery properly, we can replace some rotten part, and the building is going to survive easily 400 years. So 2411, next tsunami will come. Okay, and then people will go there, and then because the column or the kindergarten telling the kids, if earthquake happens, come to me. I was killed by tsunami in 2011. By the way, I was planted 1611. So now 2411, next tsunami will come. Okay, and if you come to me, your life will be saved. So the architecture is not about only the place. It's not about the materials. It's about the story telling for the children, for the future. Storyteller. So it's a message for 400 years from now. That's the building we are.
That's the building, and I love, because again you make it so much bigger than just a building. It's, as you say, it's a story, and it's a story way bigger than us and way older. It will outlive us all, and hopefully it'll still be there. And I like the connection with the materials that you make.
Okay, keep going.
No. One question that I had is, you're asked to speak on lots of, for loads of universities. I saw a talk from you, at I believe at MIT, but it was for Harvard. So you speak all over the world. How is kind of your vision on, when it comes to architecture? Is it perceived as typically something in Japan, or what is the response? What's the international response to your approach from people?
Yeah, I think it's our idea has been understood by internationally more than in Japan.
Okay, yeah.
In Japan is a kind of old society in that kind of architecture term. Okay, but the world understand it because there are so many difficult things going on in the world. But of course, at the same time, all the students in the world ask us, how did you get know to deal with such a kind of difficult subject, bring into architecture?
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the students in Harvard asked us, how did you learn about the children so much?
Yeah.
Because he read all the books, he's not showing a kind of idea.
Yeah.
And I know that he has a girlfriend. So I asked him, do you have a girlfriend? He said, yes, I have a girlfriend. Are you going to get married? I think you told me, yes, we are going to get married. Okay, good idea. And you're going to have a kids, okay? Are you? Yes, we're going to have a kids. And you understand it.
Mm.
My point is, answer is all over the place.
Yeah.
But usually, most architects are blinded by the fashion, the magazine, maybe website, okay? People are following the mood. But there are things you should never forget as a human being. And the wisdom, given by the ancestors. And somehow I learned that because from the family. First of all, I learned from my elder brother. He got disabled. So I saw all these difficulties, and also my grandfather's my father's family. Actually, my grandfather's house is very old. They have been living in the same place 350 years old. So generation. And, there are so many wisdom given from the ancestors.
Yeah.
All these are there. So we are nothing more than a page of the long history book.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of just talking about just me
Yeah.
and Yui, we are just only a part of huge
of a huge
human
story.
being.
Yeah.
That is how I perceive ourselves.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful perception. And you are also from a long line of builders and architects. Am I correct, Takaharu?
No. We are actually my family is from a kind of good merchant.
Oh, good merchant. Okay.
Our family were very good at making money.
Oh, okay.
But my family, actually my grandfather's family and my father's family had a bank, but my father didn't want to take over the business. He became an architect.
Oh, he became
my father is also an architect.
An architect. Okay. Yeah.
So I live in a house which my father designed.
Okay.
So which I love very much.
Yeah.
Architect is not good business. It's not good way to make money. It's fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
It's good business. It's good work and a good profession.
I can imagine that's beautiful. Before we go to your third challenge, I had a question around what are you most proud of your projects? And you have two beautiful children, so I know, and so those are beyond a doubt at number one. But when it comes to your project, is there any that you say, yes, this is the one here, this is everything?
I don't think so. There are too many.
Too many.
Yeah. You can bring one out.
Yeah.
But maybe the
Roof House changed our life a lot. Yeah, because how can I say? We through the designing of the roof house, we really learned many things from the client. The client is very great and they enjoy the life. They're quite a lot. So through the attitude, we learned quite a lot, many things.
There's one important story I can tell you. The roof house get published on one of the most architecture magazines called the Shinkeichi, Japan Architects. If you translate. And then next issue, every month they published. Next issue, always there's a kind of mean writer, thinker, talk about the previous issue. Okay, and one of the architects wrote that these architects are putting people on top of the roof, but the rooftop is very hot in summer, very cold in winter. I don't think it's in use. It's a kind of fiction architect created. I don't think it's a good thing to do. But the client, some kind opposed it. Actually, the project got the kind of big prize, for the magazine. And then while we are making the lecture, the client made the lecture. He said, "Oh, we use that rooftop every day." Somebody said rooftop is very hot in summer. Of course. So you should use the rooftop in the morning before sunrise. Yeah. And in the winter, yes, rooftop is very cold. But if after lunchtime, it's warm enough.
Yeah.
And then they said they gave us very interesting story. In summer, you go to beach. The sun is 50 degrees. In the winter, you go to skiing, -20. So it means, you don't need to change the environment. You are designed to be a part of the environment. I think that is that changed our way to think about architecture, really. So now we are not just only ourselves. We are a part of big family, of the world, a big environment, a part of this planet. Just like a John Lennon. There is no boundary between countries. All these things expanded endlessly.
Yeah, and again,
it all started from the house. Yeah.
Exactly. The roof house, and wonderful that you bring that up, because out of the roof house you got the Fuji kindergarten, and that one is of course also so famous, but that was triggered by the roof house. And again, I think you're also saying, like, again, the answers were all around you, right? So kind of when it comes to the climate and the use of the climate in relation to the house. So it's so wonderful that you put those together so cleverly. And then we go to your third challenge or blessing, which is your marriage, and of course the fact that you are both architects and both started, your company. So you are professionally as privately completely intertwined. How is that going? Could you describe to me one day out of your lives? How does that exactly work?
Yeah, it's not easy, but every day we have to think which one is going to make breakfast.
Okay. Yeah.
But the truth is, I am very good at cooking. Okay, so I taught her how to cook, but now she's good cook.
Okay.
So always we say, providing food is the most important thing for the kids. Now we are supposed to talk about it, our profession, yeah. But everything we are doing in our profession is based on our family, based on our experience as a family. In my office, there are many, in our office there are many marriage happen. Okay. Now, in our office, they can go to date in daytime, even weekday, and then we go to barbecue together. We go for skiing sometime, bicycle racing. We always tell them, if you don't know the happiness, how can you provide happiness to the others? Yeah. That is a professional architect. But if we don't get married, we don't understand all these. Of course, there are things we disagree all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, just like a normal.
Yeah. But is there ever a professional disagreement, like if you are working on a project, or is that kind of secondary to of course?
I think to make a project, I think two of us agree is quite important because architecture is architecture should be understood by the society or many people from many people. So if one of them doesn't agree, how can I convince others?
Someone else, yeah.
So it's important for us to agree.
Yeah, because architecture is not for ourselves.
Yeah.
We design architecture for somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Not for us, not for others.
Yeah.
It's a basic thinking. We don't live for ourselves. We live for the kids. Yeah. We live for family, and we design architecture for the others.
Yeah.
That is the basic. Yeah. We learned from family. Yeah. Of course, it's challenged. Now, of course, there are different kind of thinking. Okay. Mm-hmm. But same time, that is our strengths.
Yeah. Yeah.
Argument.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you stronger as well if you can have a healthy conversation around it, and if you could really, be you among each other, right, and have a conversation as it should be. And if you're already used to that in a private setting, then professionally, it might make your life easier as well.
Maybe I should tell you the difference between us. Mm-hmm. I'm very good at. Just a moment. 今これ番組なの。I'm very good at making models and also drawings. I'm very quick. And my partner is very good at destroying things. So I may draw the models, and she comes with a cut knife and also and she scrabbles and cut it and 180 degree, and actually it makes things better.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
So I don't protect just ideas.
Yeah.
If she doesn't agree as it is, and I try to get idea from her.
Yeah.
I allow her to change it. Yeah. And if it's good, I accept it. That is what we are.
Beautiful. That is beautiful. And you both seem to have each your area of expertise that comes together nicely then and creates great results. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy.
No. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. So obviously you've won so many prizes and have been acknowledged so many times over that, it definitely isn't easy, but you are very successful at it and very good at it. So congratulations. Before I go to my two very last questions, and thank you so much for your time. What are you currently working on with Tezuka Architects?
First of all, town center, whatever, tech issue, the place.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have a school in Portugal. And close to Lisbon, I think so. And I hope we're gonna start. And we have a kind of culture center Europe. I can't tell you yet. Okay. And we have 2 schools in China. By the way, we're gonna start doing some kind of orphanage in India.
Wow!
But actually, that's between India and Bhutan and China, where no troop can come going. So it means it's very poor because no support.
Yeah.
So to get there, you have to go to the local airport. You have to take a jeep and the kind of donkey to go to the mountain. There are going to be 300 orphans, and somehow we're gonna collect money. So zero budget at this moment.
Okay.
Zero money, but we're gonna raise. We are hoping to raise $10 million. Maybe this channel can help us to collect $10 million. Okay.
Most definitely. Okay. Let us help you. If you have a link or anything you could share around the project, we'd be happy to disseminate. You never know how this will go. Yeah. And then my two very last questions, and sorry, before I forget, very exciting that so many projects all over the world, that you are working with and involved in, and also great again to see many schools, orphanages really buildings with a public purpose, right? And then with education in the midst of it. My two very last questions, and I ask them to all my guests, is one is around reading or literature, and is there any book that you would recommend to maybe other future architects who are listening in to us today? Or any book maybe that helped you on your personal path that that you would like
I can give you one good example. The 7 Lamps of Architecture by John Ruskin.
Okay.
That is going to talk about the honesty and how architecture be a part of history. He's not a modernist, but he talk about how architecture should be a part of the history. Actually, that is very important book for me. How about you?
You
don't?
Yeah.
You know John Ruskin?
I've heard of him, but I haven't. I have to say I haven't read his work. But this is a great recommendation.
He wrote about the Stones of Venice, Sesame and Ladies, and the great books. And I read books around him. Thomas Carlyle, Wordsworth, all these.
Yeah.
But I think John Ruskin has been a kind of guide for me all the time.
Yeah. For my case, maybe it's not a book, but I really love the work of Louis Kahn. Yeah, Louis Kahn. Yeah,
Louis Kahn.
Not a book.
Not a book. So yeah, I really love his work because his work is quite honest.
Yeah.
Honest to the material and the program and so on. So yeah, we are keeping learning from him.
Nice. Sorry, and his name is Louis Kahn?
Louis Kahn.
We get Louis Kahn. Louis Kahn. No?
He's a great architect.
Okay. Louis Kahn.
He has died so many years ago.
Nice, yeah. Wonderful. John Ruskin and Louis Kahn. Great recommendations, and we'll be sure to highlight your book in our episodes and content later on. Just the book of John Ruskin were the 7 Lumps of Architecture.
Yes, there are 7 lights, 7
lights.
Enlightenment. He's giving us. Okay, and it takes a long time to explain, but if you read it, it's easy.
Nice, wonderful. And then my very last question. Now let's turn the tables. This is the Yui and Takaharu Tezuka. Sorry, I need to say your names exactly right. Yui and Takaharu Tezuka podcast. This is the Yui and Takaharu Tezuka podcast. Who would be your first guest if you were doing the interviewing?
First guest. I'm sorry, I don't understand.
No, so if I always ask, like, if you were to have a podcast like we have, right? So Tezuka Architects has a podcast, and you would invite guests to come over and speak. Like I am interviewing you now, and you were very high on my list. Who would you want to talk to?
Peter Cook.
Peter Cook?
Peter Cook.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun. Why don't you invite him? He's really fun, He created the high-tech style, and also he's fun architect. He's fun person. He's founder of Archiland.
Okay.
I think he's 84, 85, something like this, but he's quite sharp.
Okay.
You love to interview him.
Yes, but
why do you go to him?
Definitely. Well, I'm happy to interview him, but it's your choice, right? So it's you like Peter Cook because he makes it fun. He's done great work, and he inspires you as architects.
There's one good sentence he gave us. Observation is more important than analysis.
Yeah.
Just look at things.
Yeah.
Just observe things, and naturally the real world is going to give you the answer. That kind of observation is more important than analysis.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, and that's beautiful to close with, because if we observe things, then the answers are all around us. Thank you so much, Takaharu and Yui, for your time. I wish you all the very, very best in all the great projects that you are doing. I'm sure we'll see and hear a lot more about you, and we'll be sure to include a link to the great TED Talk of Takaharu and the interviews, previous interviews with Yui and Takaharu in our show notes, so people can go there and find out more about the unique, lovely couple that you are. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.